Last issue, we discussed the most successful second installment of the Terminator series. The governor's classic costume is so handsome that it can't be copied. Gun, leather jacket, Harley, single-handedly loaded to the fly. The success of the second film, the role of Robert Patrick, contributed greatly. All the later villains unmatch his cold expression, sharp eyes, and power to suffocate sense of oppression. This issue will continue to explain the Terminator. The third Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines. The story takes place in Terminator 2 10 years later. Connor is 22 years old, and after his mother, Sarah, died of an illness, he lives a life of anonymity, unwilling to face his impending fate. His dreams always show the coming of the Day of Judgment, the outbreak of a nuclear war that has claimed the lives of 3 billion people, are always present. The world of the future is completely controlled by Skynet, with a legion of powerful machines eating away the lives of the survivors. Connor's heart is under tremendous pressure, and he chooses to run away aimlessly in the face of a horrible future. A deer suddenly appears on the highway, causing him to fall hard to the ground. Connor's special status makes him unable to go to the hospital like ordinary people, so he sneaks into a pet hospital at night to look for medicine. Meanwhile, in the window of a clothing store in Los Angeles, a familiar lightning bolt appears out of nowhere, and the Terminator TX appears. She then grabs a suit in a sports car. At midnight, a sports car rampages through the streets. Undoubtedly, the police will not let this move go unnoticed, but the soft and sexy female appearance is the best disguise. On the other side, the governor, in the same way. As the saying goes, at the beginning of the game, naked equipment all rely on the fight. The governor breezed to a bar. He ignored the excited eyes of the women around and grabbed a set of leather clothes out of the bar, but this pair of sunglasses is a bit of a prank. The governor realizes that this and his tough guy image do not fit and threw on the ground and crushes pieces using his foot. Finally, he found sunglasses that fit his temperament in a pickup truck on the side of the road. In the sports car, TX used her system to access the network and quickly searched for information on important future resistance figures. These people will be her priority targets, including a pet doctor named Kate. She wakes up in the early morning to a phone call from a woman who wants to rescue and treat her pet cat in an emergency. When Kate arrived at the hospital, she found Connor, who had burglarized the house and taken advantage of him to put him in a dog crate. After a brief exchange, Kate discovers that the sneaky man in front of her is her classmate, Connor, and that the two have dated before. Just when Kate wonders why Connor has become like this, the sudden sound of gunshots outside interrupted her thoughts. The Terminator TX has arrived here, and the woman who attended the emergency room for the pet has somehow become the scapegoat. TX analyzed the identity of the victim through blood. She entered the house and found a gauze stained with blood but did not expect to have an unexpected harvest. The main target, Connor, is hiding here. The frightened Kate saw the danger and was ready to drive away alone, but in a panic, she failed to start the car and was caught by TX on the spot and forced to tell him Connor's whereabouts when the governor appeared and directly knocked TX away. Connor in the cage realizes the danger is close, and the Terminator is back to kill. Unlike the previous T-1000, TX is composed of a metal skeleton, and liquid metal is a more difficult existence. The familiar figure at the end of the corridor with a shotgun reappeared. He tells Connor to drive first and stay behind to protect him. The female Terminator in the metal skeleton, the shotgun, is almost useless to her. The TX's weapon is devastating, sending the governor flying 10 meters away with a single blast that kills him instantly. The explosion drew a large number of police officers. Taking advantage of the confusion, TX used future technology to hack into the car system, instantly making the police car has an autopilot function. Then she entered a heavy crane in those controlled police cars and the chase machine Connor and Kate. After awakening, the governor borrowed a motorcycle from the police, followed by a shotgun to keep shooting at the crane. Terminator's series of necessary road chase battles is launched. TX-controlled police car kept crashing into Connor while the long-range artillery locked the target. Fortunately, a passing truck blocked the fatal shot for him. Seeing the governor in pursuit, TX deliberately crashes into a building on the side of the road to try to stop him. After some maneuvering, the governor grabbed the hook and wouldn't let go, no matter how hard it hit. Then he was thrown into the oncoming fire truck. TX thought this would be able to get rid of the trouble and did not expect the governor to grab the fire truck and catch up. As the cable was released, the crane was pulled to death, eventually tipped over on its side. The escape car, Connor, repeatedly confirms the year T-800 whether to come back. The Terminator in front of him is not his old friend. He is the upgraded version T-850 to protect Connor and the important members of the Resistance from the mouth of 850. Although the previous efforts of T-800 Sarah, and Dr. Dyson. The development of Skynet data was destroyed, but this only delayed a little and cannot revolutionize the future. In other words, the Judgment Day nuclear war will come again eventually. Since the destruction of Cybertron, the US military has never stopped working on Skynet. The head of this project is Kate's father, Brewster. Although Skynet has been developed so far been done, the cautious Brewster felt that leaving the defense satellites and nuclear bombs under Skynet's control was still unsettling. During the fight, one of the hydrogen batteries in 850's body malfunctioned. This battery, once damaged, must be thrown away in time, or the consequences are unthinkable. When he came to the gas station, 850 used the Terminator's usual means to borrow some supplies. Back in the car, Connor wants to exchange feelings with Kate. Kate advises him to dismiss the idea before it is too late. She has a fiancé, but soon she will not have. TX sneaks up on their residence and gets her fiancé offline early. Then he took the form of his husband and pretended to cooperate with the police in investigating a murder at the pet hospital. After learning Connor's whereabouts, brutally murdering 2 police officers, and controlling the vehicle to the destination, 850 led the two to a cemetery. It looks like Sarah is buried here, but the coffin is not filled with remains but with all kinds of weapons and equipment. Kate quickly grabbed a gun and fired a shot at 850. 850's mouth caught the bullet. Surprised by the sudden tear gas grenades thrown in, a large number of police officers surrounded the place. Kate took the opportunity to escape. At this point, an old acquaintance appears. He is throughout the Terminator trilogy of the immortal Dr. Silberman. He used his own experience to comfort the frightened Kate. In the second film, he was held hostage by Sarah with a poison needle and witnessed an incredible scene. And today, he will once again witness a miracle. Dr. Silberman could never have imagined that he would see the fearful Terminator in his lifetime, so he immediately turned around and ran away. With a round of overwhelming firepower, 850 only destroyed 17 police cars but did not hurt anyone. In hiding in the coffin, Connor doesn't understand why 850 insists on finding Kate. Because her father is the head of the Skynet program and Connor and Kate's child is very important in the future, the man in front of him slowly turns into a liquid metal robot. The smile on Kate's face faded from her original joy. At the crisis, 850 appeared with a rocket launcher. TX went all the way to Chase Boucher to take a shortcut and jumped on a car to turn his arm into a chainsaw to cut the roof of the car. Even though the T-850 kept swerving, Connor couldn't escape it with his gun firing wildly. The 850 immediately drove the car right into the path of a large truck and turned the hearse into a roadster. Soon TX stood up. His main weapon was damaged, and now his arm could only spit out flames. T-850 finds an RV and drives it to Mexico to hide from Judgment Day with the two of them, and there are less than 3 hours left before the first nuclear bomb explodes. Connor insists on going to Kate's father to stop Skynet from taking over the US military's weapons defense system, and Brewster is at the top of TX's assassination list. At Connor and Kate's insistence, 850 finally agrees to the operation, and on the way, he reveals a shocking truth. Connor will be killed on July 4, 2032, by none other than T-850, as T-800 saved Connor as a child. Skynet uses this to get T-850 close to Connor to complete the assassination mission. T-850 is captured, and Kate modifies his programming to send him to the present point in time to protect Connor and the members of the Resistance. On the other hand, Brewster's command center needs help. A virus of unknown origin continues to interfere with attacks on defense security systems. His superiors order him to open Skynet and remove the virus immediately. At this point, TX has infiltrated the command center and activated the first-generation Terminator prototype. Although Brewster was reluctant, he finally opened Skynet due to pressure from his superiors. The rampant virus was the work of Skynet. It has the final authorization this time, and nothing can stop it. Just as Brewster is confused, 2 Kates suddenly appear in the research room, confusing him even more. The robots controlled by Skynet start killing, and the whole base is thrown into chaos. 2 robots block the way to retreat, and the 850 rips off the head of one of them and beats the other one into a hornet's nest with a Gatling. A dying Brewster hands the codebook to Connor, telling them to get to the military fortress at Crystal Peak as soon as possible and asking Connor to take care of his daughter. Connor believes that Crystal Peak is the heart of Skynet. The group prepares to take a plane to get there, but TX reappears. 850 can only let the two go first and stay behind to confront them, and the battle between the Terminators begins. However, the TX was much more advanced than the 850. After a fierce battle, TX won without a doubt. Not only did she step on 850's head and modify his program, but 2 also followed Brewster's prompt to turn on the particle gas pebble, escaping down the passage. Sure enough, behind TX is a powerful magnetic force that cannot move, and the attraction makes her immobile. Connor and Kate took the opportunity to escape and just reached the fortress of Crystal Peak in their plane. At that moment, 850 woke up and reassembled his head. As TX hacks his systems, the corrupted systems make Connor the primary target. The interface switches between executing and aborting missions as 850 struggles to control his actions. After smashing a car and choosing to power down the system, it finally stops. Then, Connor and Kate could drive the plane to its destination. Meanwhile, the TX turns into a cutter and manages to escape. Soon, the 2 arrived at the fortress, and as they were about to open the blast doors against the code, TX broke in with a helicopter and saw that the death-like TX was approaching. At that moment, the helicopter sounded again, and a bigger helicopter flew in. Too late to dodge, TX was caught in the bottom of the plane. The 2 men looked at the restarted 850. Suddenly, the blast door alarm sounded. The door slowly closed, and the 850 quickly laid down without hesitation, using his steel body to buy time for Connor and Kate. With only half of TX left, still not giving up his grip on Connor's leg, 850 twists TX's hand and holds her firmly, removing the second hydrogen cell from his chest. He dies with it. When the 2 entered the core of the fortress, they were completely dumbfounded. It was different from what they expected. There was nothing in the base except some old equipment from the past. It was just a shelter built by government officials to prevent the outbreak of nuclear war. Skynet was given the highest authorization and immediately hacked into millions of computers worldwide. It spread through the internet and could be said to be everywhere. There was no way to shut it down. As it turns out, 850 knows that Judgment Day will eventually come, and his mission is to protect Connor and Kate. No matter what happens in the future, they must stay alive and lead the survivors to form a resistance army that will never give up the fight. If you enjoy videos like this, please subscribe to this channel to get our latest content. Thank you for watching.